Hi, my name is Janis Ducote, and I was diagnosed with invasive lobular carcinoma of the right breast in September 2016. At the time of my diagnosis, it was a little shocking, but on the other hand, it was sort of expected because I had found a lump in my breast earlier that year, and although I underwent numerous diagnostic testing and everything came back normal, I just had a premonition that something was wrong, and I kept pursuing it until I could finally find a doctor who would listen to me and agreed to do a biopsy when other doctors said no, it was not necessary. And I found the most wonderful man. His name is Trey Sands, and he agreed to biopsy this small lump. And unfortunately, he called me 3 days later with the diagnoses. However, I feel vindicated that my premonition turned out to be true, and then I could go forward and get the necessary treatment I needed. After my diagnosis, I went to see a surgical oncologist. Her name is Angie Cessard, and she was a lifesaver, just like Dr. Sands. And after much, discussion and other testing that was done, it was decided that I would go ahead and have bilateral mastectomies, which she performed, and then Dr. Sands did immediate reconstruction the same day. And my surgery was just amazingly so smooth. Everything went perfectly well. I stayed in the hospital one night, and I was back to work within days, believe it or not, even with drains. And I think that my story really reflects on trying to get the point across to other women that if you find something that is foreign to you, that you know should not be there in your body, don't take no for an answer. Keep looking for a doctor that is going to listen to you, because had I listened to the initial doctor that told me, don't worry about it, just come back in a year, my cancer would have been more advanced by then and probably spread to my lymph nodes. But by pursuing your gut feeling, going with it, and listening to your heart and listening to your brain that God gave you to make a good decision, it all turned out to be so much better than it could have been. So I want everybody to take heed and know that there is help out there if you feel you need it. And it worked for me, and I know it can for you. I want to thank my wonderful doctors, Dr. Trey Sands, who really, I call him my guardian angel because he listened to me and did what he needed to do to get me the help I needed. And then he referred me to that fantastic Dr. Cessard, who I just adore. And she also was part of my surgical team, and I still see her today, 5 years later, every 6 months, and she's just a wonderful inspiration to me. And then also my oncologist, Dr. Melanie Sheen, she took my hands inside of her hands the first day I met her and looked me square in the eye and said to me, I want you to know you have a curable disease. And she said, I want you to write it on a piece of paper and put it somewhere that you can see it every day. And I did that immediately when I got home, and I taped it to my computer, and it is still there 5 years later. So I thank her. And I used to jokingly call Sands, Cessard, and Sheen my law firm of doctors, because that's what it sounded like to me. But, and I also want to thank my wonderful husband who was there, through the whole thing for me. And I think that God also was such a part in getting me the treatment that I needed so that I could survive and be there for my husband, who 4 years after that, almost to the day, was diagnosed with a stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and I had to take care of him. And he unfortunately passed away, but I was able to take care of him through the whole thing, and he died with me at home. So I thank him for being there for me so I could be there for him. I also want to thank my wonderful girlfriends that were there through the whole thing with me. I never did have children, so I didn't have kids to hover over me and take care of me, but all of my girlfriends did. And as a matter of fact, two of my very good friends, Becky and Joanne, knew that I loved tennis and that I wanted to always go to the US Open. And 1 year after my diagnosis and surgery, they arranged a trip to New York, and we got to go see the US Open tennis tournament. So that was fantastic. So anyway, and my other good friend Jane that went through cancer the same year as me, she and I have been best friends, and she was very supportive for me. And my other friend Jane actually stayed with me overnight in the hospital, and we actually had a very fun time. So she made my post-op night memorable. So anyway, thank you to all of my friends and my family as well. One more thing I am so thrilled about is being part of this Unite group. And this is the most rewarding thing I could ever imagine, being with all these wonderful women that have gone through similar circumstances. And the camaraderie has just been fantastic. The support has been fantastic. But I think the biggest thing is that this has allowed us to come out of our shell and be the woman that, you know, people can hear roar. And I am just thrilled as punch to be part of this group, and I can't wait to get out on the runway and just strut my stuff. And my name is Janis, and this is my story.